Thank you. Good evening. I will now call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District. Today present are board members Ms. Rosemary Breedlove, Mr. David Oliveira, Ms. Dolly Zimmerman, Dr. Roberto Robles, Mr. Roman Dino Esparza, Mr. Eduardo C. Campirano, and Dr. Julia Garcia. First item on the agenda is a resolution naming the George Truan Sculpture Garden. We just had a ceremony honoring Mr. Truan at the courtyard in conjunction with the scholarship presentation, and I'd like to formalize that sculpture garden by reading a resolution as follows. State of Texas, County of Cameron, Texas Southmost College District Resolution. Whereas Mr. George Truan was an accomplished artist, an extraordinary educator, a committed student advocate, and devoted husband and father. And whereas in September of 1974, after teaching in the Brownsville Public Schools, Mr. George Truan joined Texas Southmost College as a well-respected instructor in the art department. He was chosen as department chair, overseeing the growth of the department, and whereas he was noted for his concern about his students and encouraged them to explore their talents, and whereas through his art, Mr. Truan promoted Hispanic culture and inspired his students to take pride in their culture, and whereas Mr. Truan saw great beauty in the environment of his home, standing strong to preserve the trees on this very campus, and with his own hands replanting palms that still grace this ground. Whereas he was a man of public service, the public elected him to serve as a trustee for the Brownsville School District, where he championed the financial support of fine arts, and he volunteered his time to the Brownsville Planning and Zoning Commission, the Brownsville Youth Council, and the Brownsville Community Health Clinic. And whereas in year 2002, University of Texas System Board of Regents approved the establishment of the George Truan Scholarship Endowment, which supports full-time students pursuing an art major. And whereas in year 2002, University of Texas at Brownsville and Texas Southmost College honored him as a diamond among us for his extraordinary contribution to the institution. And whereas the area bounded by the long-standing Rustenburg Building, historic Cavalry Hall, and new campus bookstore will be adorned with Truan's trees and designed to become a convening place for the campus community and a display venue for student artwork. Now therefore be resolved by the Board of Trustees of the Texas Southmost College District that this place that creates a gateway to the visual arts programs and nurtures students' dreams should be named the George Truan Sculpture Garden, reflecting a fitting tribute to the memory of our beloved professor. Passed and adopted this 18th day of January of the year 2006. Chester Gonzalez, Chair, Board of Trustees. Dr. A. Campirano, Secretary of Board of Trustees. Today present we have Ms. Biddy Truan and family members. No?
No,
just Biddy and Noe. And so we ask that you please Do we have the, well, first of all, let me get a motion to approve. So motion made by Dr. Robles. Second by everybody else.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. So we have a video to show the audience, please.
George Thruan was an artist, an educator, a father, a husband, a good friend. George was raised in Kingsville, attended schools there, and earned his bachelor's and master's degrees at Texas A&I University. In September of 1974, after teaching for 6 years in the Brownsville Public School District, George joined Texas Southmost College as an instructor in the art department. Nancy Schleight first met George when she interviewed for a teaching position in the fall of 1986.
It's just very, very enthusiastic and really made me want to work here. The thing that impressed me the most about George from that first meeting was how concerned he was about students. Everything that he ever did was about students, for their good, and particularly with the idea of encouraging students to explore their talents, to let them know how good they are, that they can do it.
At Texas Southmost College, George served as chair of the art department and oversaw enormous growth of that department. He was very involved at the college, serving on committees, and he always had the students' interests first. He made sure classes were offered whenever needed, including nights, including weekends. George was also a great artist. Through his art, George promoted the Hispanic culture. He encouraged his students to take pride in their art and in their culture. In turn, many of the students he taught have carried with them a little bit of George.
Because George was a counselor, a friend, and a teacher. So I think a lot of these students, whenever they see me and meet me, that I worked alongside George, they kind of want to share what they experienced and what they learned from George.
George also loved nature. He took great pride in the courtyard next to the art building. He saw it as a place where students could gather and be inspired by the beauty of nature. There was another side to George. He truly cared about Brownsville, the city he adopted when he and his family first moved here in 1968. He was elected to the Brownsville School Board of Trustees and volunteered his time to the Brownsville Planning and Zoning Commission, the Brownsville Youth Council, and the Brownsville Community Health Clinic.
But he was extremely community-minded, and he was out to change. He was out to change the politics. He was out to enhance the education for the world. Whereas he saw and learned a part of reality that was kind of ugly, which is people really do without health care. People really do die. And he was involved wholeheartedly. He was smooth, he was a strategist, all of those things that you'd like to have on your side, he was it.
Family was important to George. He and his wife Biddy were married 22 years. They raised 3 sons. In the spring of 1991, George was diagnosed with cancer. From the onset, he valiantly fought the disease. 16 months later, in September of 1992, he lost his battle with cancer. George was 47. Read any of the hundreds of sympathy cards and letters that were sent to his family, and you know that George touched many lives. Former students wrote, "He enriched my life. He was so much more than an art teacher. George was a strong role model and pushed me to stretch for even more personal growth." Another student said, "George gave me the strength to get past a very difficult time I was having at home." And finally, one older student wrote, "He greeted me with the same enthusiasm that he had for the younger students. All of us are stronger and wiser for the definition he gave our lives.
I feel sad that the students who have come after George didn't have a chance to know him. He's still in this building, he's still in our program, he's still in those of us who are teaching here, but we miss him. We really do. He was someone who I felt very close to. I still carry his picture, and I have it in my desk drawer. Look at it every now and again, whenever I need to be reminded of just how important this job is. To have known George was just such a privilege and such a gift.
It's all right. Let's take a picture and yeah. If you all would gather over there with Biddy, and we can all take a picture together as well. Give her the non-coverage. Biddy, would you like to say a few? Thank you very much. This was a big surprise. And I know Juliet and I, over the years, have talked about those palm trees. As a wife, I was not aware of a lot of the things that happened in George's professional life. I had a profession also, and 3 young kids. So a lot of the stories that I hear from his coworkers here are sometimes new to me, and even after all these years, I still hear stories that I've never heard before. So, but the palm trees, I'm sure Dr. Garcia could fill you in on it, or maybe you've already heard it before. Thank you very much for this great honor. Thank you. I will tell one story, the palm tree story, because it simply reflects the passion I think that George had in his heart for many things, big and small. But I was an academic dean at the time, and George thought that put me in charge of everything. And he was the chairman of the art department. And he was upset one day because somebody was going to mow down these little palm trees. The palm trees were this high, and George was outraged. And imagine the man standing in front of the tank at Tiananmen Square. This was George standing in his own backyard, in his home, the campus, at the very end of the campus in those days, which was around Cavalry Building, and saying, you cannot let them mow those trees down. And I said, George, I'm not in charge of that part of it. He says, if you cannot do this, then you're not relevant to our work. George was not easy. And I said, if I do it, will you leave me alone? And he said, yes. So I arranged that the folks who were going to mow would not mow down the palms. George says, I will take them and I'll figure out what to do with them. So he did, and he planted the palms around the edge of Cavalry Building. Now, if you walk over there tomorrow and you look, they are the very, very tall, beautiful Washingtonian palm trees that now provide an outline for those two courtyards that are in the front of Cavalry Building facing the Student Union. It marked the edge of our campus in a very significant way. But beyond that, what it did was to say little palm trees like new students, like the innocence of, as he would say, the water dropping from a faucet. Whatever it was, George found beauty in, and taught us to do the same thing. But beyond that, what he taught us was passion for our work. And so to keep him quiet and to learn from him all at the same time, we did his bidding because we knew it was the right thing to do. So it is just a perfect tribute that this board today decides to name a garden in his honor, a garden yet to be built, but one that will be adjacent to the new relocated art department in the sculpture garden that many of his students, one of our faculty members who was a student of his, where he now teaches. So I thank you on behalf of all of those of us who knew George, but it was not only about George, it's about every teacher who's here, every faculty member who's ever taught here and who continues to do this work out of a great deal of commitment. So thank you very, very much. And congratulations, Biddy and Noe and family.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Biddy, congratulations again, family members. As from the stories that Dr. Garcia tells, there's no doubt that George was a true artist. He saw beauty in everything. So thank you on behalf of the board also for being here.
I have one other announcement before we go into executive session, if I might, and that's on a completely different topic, to introduce our Vice President for Business Affairs, Rosemary Martinez, to announce a new development.
Dr. Garcia, I'd like to invite some folks up here to join me to make this announcement. I've got Floyd Akers, he's our campus attorney, along with Peter Reese, who's the manager of the Jacob Brown Auditorium, and Mr. Brian Edwards, who is the manager of Pizza Hut. And these two guys, you all know them, Floyd and Peter, are in the Business Affairs Division within the campus, and Floyd handles employment matters, and Peter handles A&E. But in their spare time, they've been working on branding activities for the university. And one of the businesses that they've been working with is Pizza Hut. Brian Edwards is the manager of Pizza Hut, and he's part of, I told him earlier, I said, you're part of the UTB family and don't realize it. He's been a student here. His spouse has received degrees, both bachelor's and master's degrees from our university, and he has a child, a daughter. One of his two daughters attends UTB. So we're very, very happy to have been very successful in this branding effort. And I'm going to ask Floyd and Peter to tell you a little bit about it, and then invite Mr. Edwards to share some comments with us.
Thank you. Yes, we've been trying to partner with local businesses to brand the university, to start getting the university's name out throughout the community. And as you probably know, Peter did a wonderful job last year with McDonald's. And now you go into McDonald's, you can tell that it's really a campus McDonald's. It's got scorpions in the tile work and things like that. And so our next target was Pizza Hut. And luckily, Pizza Hut has come on board. They are fully behind us. One of the great things they're going to start doing is once a month, they're going to have a UTB Day at Pizza Hut, where their profits from that day will go to scholarships here at the university. Pretty soon, Pretty soon you will also be able to recognize it truly as a UTB Pizza Hut, because right in the front in neon where it says, great subs, it's also going to say Go Scorpions in neon. So we're pretty excited about that. And the inside of the Pizza Hut, there will be no doubt that it's also a University of Texas at Brownsville and Texas Southmost College Pizza Hut. It's going to be decorated with banners, jerseys, UTB flags, and all sorts of things. And I think we've got a verbal commitment at this point to, when they remodel in 2 years, to do more extensive work in branding that store more to our location. Peter can tell you a little bit more about some of the other activities they're going to be offering for students here.
Thank you, Floyd. Well Pizza was very generous, and we truly appreciate this partnership. Alongside with Floyd's comments, they also produced a laptop. And so our students will be able to sign up for a laptop giveaway every time they purchase. And as we continued the conversation with Pizza Hut, I started to think like a student, and I wondered, what would a student really want? And I thought, pizza. And so, pizza they got. Pizza Hut has agreed to do a frequent purchase card for all our students and staff and faculty. And on your 5th purchase, your item is free. So that's a really nice incentive. They're also putting together a little registration with career services, and they're going to have part-time positions available, registered with career services, so that our students can work and study and be close to campus at the same time. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm really excited about it. I see a lot of faculty and staff over at our store a lot, especially Ronnie, wherever he is back there. And I see a lot of students there also. Came across some not too long ago in one of the tables in the corner, a big group of them. They looked like they're studying real hard, so I walked over there and said, y'all studying for a test? They were studying for their comps. So they were working real hard. So we've been neighbors for quite a while over there, and I look forward to our, working together and seeing what we can work out for each other in the future. I really appreciate this. So we were very glad to help you all out. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations, you all. I just wanted to let you know that the Heart Institute of Brownsville is going to grant a holiday for pizza on the all the pizza lovers and with heart disease. They can go in and have their pizza.
Brian, is the Davis family still, I guess, on the Valley Pizza Huts, or?
No, they sold almost 5 years ago.
Okay.
Roy finally decided to sell, and luckily a good friend of his took over, so he took us over and didn't want any changes. It was good for us people who were getting close to 50 that we weren't going to have to change anything there. So we're real happy about that.
Brian, thanks. Brian and I went to high school together, and he's one of the brilliant guys in our class, and Pizza Hut's lucky to have you. And thank you for your generosity.
We're lucky to have him as well.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Thank you. That concludes it.
Okay, we're now going to, the board will now convene into executive sessions provided by Government Chapter Code 551. Briefing. The board will now convene in regular session. I apologize for the longevity of the executive session meeting, but we have to discuss some items. Okay, item 3 is the consideration of possible action on the contract and resolution for the purchase of Lot 3, Block 16, Colonia Alta Vista in Brownsville, Texas. This is another acquisition for, as we have in the past, what we usually use for parking. And I'll have a motion to approve the contract and resolution.
I make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion made by Ms. Breedlove.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Esparza. All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion or nays? No. Motion carries. Second item is the contract and resolution for the purchase of the Fort Brownsville 2, Unit 2E. And I'd ask for also a motion to approve the contract.
I'll move that. So moved.
Motion's been made by Ms. Zimmerman and second by Ms. Breedlove. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? None. Motion carries. The next item is a quitclaim deed for tracks 1, 2, 3, and 4 out of Share 19 of the Espiritu Santo grant. This is for the transfer of some some bookkeeping for some real estate that we have for PV. So I ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
And the motion is to authorize the president or her designee to execute all necessary documents. That is being made by Ms. Breedlove.
Second.
Second by Ms. Zimmerman. All in favor?
Mr. Chairman, please, I'd ask the record to reflect that I excuse myself from any discussion in this matter and that I will abstain.
The record so reflects Mr. Campirano has abstained on this issue. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None. One abstention. Motion carries. The next item on the real estate list is the acceptance of a real estate gift for property located at GCIC Block 47, Lot 13E, Tract 4, 4.75 acres out of Willoughby County. This motion is to authorize the president or her designee to execute all necessary documents.
So moved.
Motion is made by Ms. Zimmerman.
Second.
Second by Dr. Robles. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None. Motion carries. Item 4 is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of December the 15th.
Move the adoption of meetings.
Motion's been made by Mr. Campirano.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Mr. Esparza. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None. Motion carries. Item 5 is speakers to agenda item and public discussion. Mary? No speakers. Then we move to item number 6 is the board briefing on the Certified Public Management Program. Dr. Ruth Ann Ragland will address the board on that issue.
Mr. Chairman, board members, and Dr. Garcia, I would like to present Dr. Charles Dameron, our Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, who will present the board briefing tonight with our Certified Public Management team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Ragland. Mr. Chairman, board members, Madam President, we're pleased to have the opportunity to provide you some information about a brand new program that we have here. I'm going to just give you a little quick overview and then ask several colleagues to add to that. We're 1 year now into our Master in Public Policy and Management degree, a master's degree, which has been well received and is doing well. We had an opportunity last spring to get into a conversation about also providing the community with a professional certificate that's in the area of public management, and it's the Texas Public it's the Texas Certificate for Public Managers program. I'd now like to ask Charles Chapman, the chair of our government department, to provide a little more information about it, and then we also have Adrian Petrescu and Ben Reyna who can comment as well.
Thank you, Dean. Good evening. The Certified Public Management Program is a program that's being offered in 26 states. It originated in Texas at what used to be Southwest Texas State University, is now Texas State University. And I came here in 1999 from Texas State University, and a colleague of mine, Dr. Howard Balanoff, had worked very closely with former Lieutenant Governor Bill Hobby to establish the program at Texas State. And then it branched out from Texas State to other universities. University of Texas at Austin has the program. UTSA has it. We are the official presence of the Certified Public Manager Program in South Texas. And we're just taking our baby steps, getting the thing started. Our first course will be offered the first week of February. In other parts of the state, it's been found to be a very useful program because one of the biggest problems that we've had in Texas, as well as in other states, is having people in management positions having to deal with public funds, with public policy, and maybe not necessarily having the necessary training, maybe not even the necessary ethical background to deal with the problems that they're faced with. And the Certified Public Management Program aims at filling that gap. I think it's something that we need here, based on my experiences just in the last 6 years. We needed it up in Central Texas, and as I said, it's been very successful. We've had some public managers who started in the CPM program not being comfortable with getting back into the classroom. Maybe they've been away from college for a number of years. They start in the CPM program where it's a little bit less academic oriented. You've got fellow professionals in the classroom as opposed to maybe young college students. And some of them, after they've gotten their feet a little bit wet, they've seen that they do have the capability to go back and get some sort of continuing education, will then convert over and get a master's degree. One of my former students is now the chancellor of the Texas State College System, a guy by the name of Charles Matthews. Used to be on the Texas Railroad Commission. Well, he was one of my students. And he'd started in the CPM program because he just didn't feel comfortable getting back into the classroom situation. Once he saw that he was capable of doing this, then he went ahead and got his master's degree in public administration. So I think it's something that would be very important, not just for the University of Texas at Brownsville and Texas Southmost College, but something that's important for South Texas. One of my professors in the government department, Dr. Adrian Petrescu, is the acting director of the program. He comes to us with a varied background. I once worked with NATO, has a long background in the teaching of public administration and practice of public administration, and so he'll give you the nuts and bolts with regards to this particular program.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members, Madam President. I am really honored to be here, and I'm honored to have worked with Dr. Balnoff and have visited with him and all the other coordinators of the CPM Texas-wide to learn from their experience in the past 1 year on how should we implement this best in our region. When I say that, I really refer to everywhere south of San Antonio, maybe because we don't actually have something like that delivered in other place south of San Antonio, but only here at UTB TSC. And we're very, very proud to be able to do that. If you can look at your screen, you can see that in Texas, in 1994, the program has been Texas State University at San Marcos, as Dr. Chapman mentioned, has been designated by the National Consortium of Certified Public Managers to be the place of delivery of this program, which is a national program, certified in 26 states. And through the Texas State University, we at San Marcos, we managed to do a memorandum of understanding whereby we are entitled to use their syllabi and their books and their delivery methods to deliver it from here. It was in Texas, initiated at Texas State. It is designed for present and future leaders in public service. The program is open to professionals, faculty, students from other countries, which we think of using as a stepping stone to actually expand UTB-TSC's reach beyond just the United States and beyond just South Texas, but into Mexico for certain, alongside with other programs that we're working across the border. It is in Texas delivered. It's Texas and nationwide accredited. It's delivered in Texas since 1994. By the program is 27 years old, actually, in the United States. It's recognized nationwide in 26 states, and that's expanding, like Dr. Chapman said, UT Austin, UT El Paso, Texas Tech, UT Arlington, Stephen F. Austin, and as of February of this year, it will include UTB-TSC in the list of universities in Texas that deliver it. It has 7 tracks. Each track is delivered over 2 Friday to Saturday sessions over about a month. It takes therefore about 14 months to complete all tracks. The schedule, the way we design it at UTB TSC is such that we will have the first graduates before May of 2007. The CPM, once you complete all the tracks, will actually be issued and delivered by the governor himself. So the graduates go to Austin or herself, yes, I'm sorry, yes. That's true. The membership, well, of course, you can take the tracks independently, but if you take all 7, you will be issued, participant will be issued the CPM. Otherwise, they only get a diploma for having completed each track. It comes with a membership in the American Society of Public Administration. Of course, it has other professional benefits, such as participation in conferences, networking, access to different to expertise by other professionals in the field, and so on and so forth. I have here a description of all the tracks. The first one is personal administration, something that is clearly very necessary among our professionals. Managing for quality, with all the components in each track. You can see leadership and managing for quality, strategic planning, team building, reinventing and re-engineering organizations, and so on and so forth. Organizational communications. On this note, it is not something that the government department alone does. We use colleagues, faculty from our department, but also across the board, reaching out to with delivery from faculty from other departments. And in this particular case, we're talking about the Dr. Cook and the people in the communications department. We use professionals from the practice to core team to team teach the courses, so that the participants actually have both an academic view and a practitioner's view. Consultants and so on and so forth. Public finance, productivity and program evaluation, something of very high necessity, with all the research, developing standards of program evaluation, survey research, data analysis, and so on and so forth. Information systems for managers, yet again something that's extremely important, and we have the capability to deliver all that. And of course the track 7, which is an applied project practicum, which allows the participants to actually solve a real problem that their agency usually is confronted with, and thus strengthening the link between the university and all the interested public agencies, whether they are at local, state, or federal, or non-profit organizations. We find that the CPM is an essential component of UTB-TSC's role of community engagement and commitment to improving public service in the Valley. And we feel that CPM is just a stepping stone in a broader schema, alongside with other programs and other initiatives that we're engaged in. And I must thank very much Ben Reina, who has been at the core of getting this message across to the community where he comes from, and he's used his own personal contacts time and time again, and he's facilitated so many meetings and so many sort of reaching out opportunities for us to be able to get the message across that we're delivering this. And Ben, if you want to
Thank you, Dr. Petrescu. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, Madam President. As a practitioner for almost 3 decades now, certainly this is an excellent program, and I think it's certainly a program that is going to achieve a greater internal capacity within the public service agencies in our region. One of the things that I want to point out that a lot of the tracks that are here, some of those types of programs were available. It was a very fragmented approach. I remember traveling to Austin, traveling to Dallas at different times of the year, sometimes a year or 2 apart, to try to achieve such a comprehensive program. What this program will do is it will offer it in a one-stop shop with minimal impact, obviously on the officials that will be attending the meeting. Obviously, time management is critical for many of them, especially those that are in the life-saving emergency side of the house type of business. But I think this is certainly going to be a program that is going to be a catalyst from some great things to come here at the university. And our outreach efforts have included hosting the City of Brownsville, all the department heads here at our campus, and also hosting the Rio Grande Valley Law Enforcement Chiefs Association and other agencies last week, as a matter of fact, on Friday, and trying to deliver this program, present this program to them. And we certainly have had a good response. I'm very, very hopeful and that this program just will continue to grow. But I think the uniqueness about the program, that it can be accomplished within a short period of time and with minimal impact on the public official that will be attending.
And as I said, the first effort that we'll make will be February 3rd and 4th, as I recall, Friday and Saturday, and it will focus on public personnel administration. One of the problems that not just officials down here in South Texas are concerned with, but all over the country. I was the criminal district attorney in Hays County before I came down here. In my first year as criminal district attorney, my sheriff was under indictment. I had one county commissioner under indictment. I had some other elected officials who we were investigating that we decided not to indict. We cut deals with them. And so it's not just in South Texas that we hear the word indictment. In fact, we may be hearing that in Washington, D.C. Sometime soon. But I felt like in talking with Dr. Howard Balanoff at Texas State, something that was very important for public managers in the Central Texas could be something that we could translate very well down here in South Texas. If you have to start somewhere, and if we can at least give some training, if we can make that training effective, maybe we can change the atmosphere in South Texas. And they do have a program at Texas A&M International in Laredo, but I think Texas State may actually be handling the program for Texas A&M International there. Other than that, from Brownsville to Laredo, as I said a while ago, we are the presence with regards to this kind of training. At this point in time, as I mentioned, we're not set up to give, we're not a degree-generating program at this point. They can get a certificate. But through Texas State, students can get some degree credit, and we might have to do some sort of a wraparound approach where students could take a course with us and then get credit through Texas State and maybe then transfer that credit back to UTB. But eventually we'll be able to work through these things. And, as I said a while ago, we're taking baby steps at this point in time. But we have high hopes. We're very optimistic about this program. It can be a money-generating program. There is a possibility that other universities may want to even rent our facility on the island to present their own CPM programs in the future. So there's just all kinds of opportunities available through this program, and hopefully it will work sort of glove in hand with our Masters of Public Policy and Management program also. Well, thank you very much for listening to all of this.
So let me make a statement, Dr. Robles. I think that this type of program is long overdue. Certainly ethics and governance is something that must not ever be overlooked and probably has to be re-educated. And so I certainly would encourage public institutions, public policy holders, public officials to consider this as a training that would probably be required by their governing body, as lawyers take training every year, doctors take training every year, and so forth, teachers. So I certainly would encourage that this program get off the ground and do well, because I think it's well needed. So, Dr. Robles?
Mr. Chapman, I just have a question in my mind, is that would this course ever be available online?
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, as a busy person, that I have nighttime or very early in the morning, and being able to log on and read the material, maybe even test on it, whatever, for certification.
I think eventually we'll all be online.
Yeah. But I think that will be more practical for me than being as busy as I am. But
I'm not aware that Texas State does this yet, but I mean, I think that's where probably education is headed, whether we want to go that way or not. Dean Dammer and I were just talking, I guess it was yesterday, about the possibility of people being able to register online. As lawyers, we register for our continuing legal education courses online now, and we can pay for that and get a receipt right away. So we're headed in that direction, just facilitating it, making it a little bit easier for people to maybe down the road to register for this program. But yeah, I think that's where we're headed. You know, I'm chairman of the government department, and I'm concerned. We're just talking about the possibility. What if there's a Category 4, Category 5 hurricane in the next couple of years? What are we going to wind up like Tulane University, not being able to operate? A lot of our faculty are considering putting together online courses. We're already offering some online courses, but we may need to, even if only as a possible emergency, an alternative approach to education, do that if something catastrophic should happen in our region. It would seem to me that CPM program would be one area where we could at least develop some sort of a model dealing with professionals.
I'd like to thank the presenters for not only launching the program, but also, instead of indictment, enlightenment might be another way of thinking. All of us were introduced to public service at some point or another, and most of us with very little training in any of the fields that you mentioned tonight that you are planning on focusing on. And like Mr. Gonzalez reminds us, getting elected and getting appointed to something doesn't mean that you are enlightened about how to do that job ethically, responsibly, and most effectively for those who have given you that stewardship responsibility. So we're very proud of this effort. We appreciate all the work that's gone into launching this, and we look forward to hearing updates on the success of this project in the future. Thank you both. Thank you, Mr. Reyna. Thank you, Dean Dameron, and Dr. Ragland as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We move into the item agenda number 7, Business Affairs Partnership Committee report. Mr. Campirano.
The Business Affairs Partnership Committee met on January the 10th, and the first item for consideration was the action on the bid for the abatement of vacant buildings. The asbestos abatement project consists of the removal of all the asbestos-contained material from the Ramada and the USDA facilities. There were 4 bids received for these projects. The low bidder was Biotech Solutions, Inc. from Edinburgh, Texas, for $84,564.50. Since this does involve 2 different buildings, the funds for this will be covered from the capital improvement account. Will cover the Ramada end of the project, and the Wellness Rec Center will cover the USDA end of the project. So all total, the bid is $84,564.50. The committee recommends, and I would move to accept the low bid for Biotech Solutions, Inc. of Texas, in the amount of $84,564.50 for abatement of the former Ramada and the USDA buildings.
Motion has been made by Mr. Campirano. Second by Ms. Bela. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nay. Motion carries.
The next item for consideration is the bid for the exterior lighting fixtures. The exterior lighting project consists of the purchase of 72 poles and all the required accessories. These are the same category and style and quality of those currently on the campus. The purchase excludes the installation. This is strictly the fixtures and all of the support material. The new pole locations will run along the existing sidewalks on Eidman, Music Lawn area, and then the Gorgas parking lot. There were 3 bids received. Low bid was Consolidated Electric Distributors in the amount of $114,000. The committee recommends, and I would move to accept the low bid from Consolidated Electric Distributors in the amount of $114,000 for the light fixtures.
Motion's been made by Mr. Campirano,
Second.
second by Mrs. Zimmerman. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None. Motion carries.
The third item for consideration is the bid for the iTech thermal plant. The scope of the work for this project includes the following: modifications to the thermal plant and roof area, installation of a new 1,000-ton chiller and cooling tower, and relocation of the tower installed under Phase 1 of the project. Competitive seal bids were requested and evaluated by TSC staff, physical plant, BRADA staff, and the engineering consultant based on established criteria. On the recommendation of the staff, it was presented. The committee recommends, and I would move to select REC Industries in the amount of $2,949,000 as general contractor for the iTech thermal plant upgrades Phase 2, and to authorize the president or her designee to negotiate a contract for this work.
Motion's been made by Mr. Campirano. Second by Mr. Rivera. Any discussions on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition, sir? Discussion, Mr. Robles, Dr.
A
Robles?
bit more information on that item. Can you please expand a little bit more on that?
I'll ask Dr. Renaud to go ahead and expand on that project.
I'm sorry, Dr. Robles, I didn't hear your
Would you like to
question.
expand a little bit more on that?
Absolutely. Remember when the trustees made the decision to purchase iTech? It was a great investment at a great dollar cost. We knew that, having done our due diligence, that the infrastructure would need to be upgraded at some point. A major portion of the infrastructure there, of course, is air conditioning, and we have had an engineering firm help us to assess the short-term and long-term air conditioning upgrade needs. You approved a Phase 1 contract about a year ago, which has been completed, and that entailed purchasing a cooling tower and placing it temporarily on the ground, and we're using it as piped in. But obviously, we're not going to leave it on the ground forever. Phase 2 is a second step in upgrading the air conditioning, so it will serve the buildings, that building adequately, so that we can go the entire summer without having an interruption in service. So this second phase will allow us. First, we have to shore up the roof to be certain it will hold this cooling tower that's now on the ground. So we'll do the roof modifications, reinforce it, place the cooling tower that's now on the ground on the roof, add a second cooling tower on the roof, and add a new chiller to the thermal plant, meaning basically the mechanical room. First, we modernize the mechanical room, expand it so it will fit the new chiller. So the bottom line is we'll be able to provide uninterrupted cool air to iTech.
This Phase 2 then would be enough to provide cooling for what percent of the...
It's about 75%. It's all the space is currently being cooled, with the exception of the Technical Training Center, which has individual units on the roof.
Thank you.
Sure.
Let me
Legitimate question.
Let me ask a question on that, just to take that one step further. I know that we discussed this at the committee meeting, and my motion states that we accept the low bid with or we accept the bid submitted by REC Industries, but it also is this contingent on negotiating a contract for the execution and completion of that work?
Yes, sir. You, based on this action, you submit basically the guaranteed maximum price, and then we negotiate the fine details.
So this will come back to the board for final action on the contract?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So now we'll take a vote. Dr.
Okay,
Robles,
go ahead.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None? Motion carries.
The final item for consideration was first reading of board policies VF5, and this is a level of approval. This is revision of an update to an existing board policy which is now outdated due to terminology changes at the state level. The revised policy allows the district to participate in the state of Texas group purchasing programs. Group purchasing programs help identify qualified vendors of goods and services, reduce the number of steps in the bidding process, and reduce the cost of goods and services. The committee recommends, and I would move to accept on first reading, the changes to the policy. And what this is, in fact, is just it's changing the policy to reflect the changes in the at the state level, but it allows us to continue to participate in the state cooperative purchasing program. So it's not anything that we're not doing. It's just changing the language to reflect consistency with the changes that have been made at the state level. The committee, again, like I said, recommends, and I would move to accept on first reading the board's policy approval of the changes in the language.
Do we vote on first reading?
You can. You're unanimous. If you pass it unanimously, there's no need for a second reading.
Motion been made by Mr. Campirano to approve the change on the policy as submitted. Second by Mr. Oliveira. All in favor?
Aye.
Any?
Just to remind the board, the reason your policy allows you normally to always, or requires you always to have two readings when you're changing or adding policy. In the case, however, when you have a full board present and the vote is unanimous for the policy, a second reading is not required. So you have just used that part of the rule that allows you to move a little bit more quickly when there's unanimity and everybody is present.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Motion carries.
That concludes the report of the Business Affairs Partnership Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Campirano. Item 8 is appointment of agent for district elections for May the 13th of this year. Dr. Renaud.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. According to the election code, the board shall appoint a staff member to perform the duties of the secretary of the board to conduct elections if the secretary does not keep office hours at the district, which is the case with our board. The agent, the job of the naming agent is to receive applications for place on the ballot, campaign finance reports, and election results, and other official documents. As has been common practice, we're recommending that the naming agent be the Assistant Vice President for Administration and Partnership Affairs, which at this time is Mr. Julio Ledesma.
So may I have a motion to approve the agent for the election? Motion made by Mrs. Zimmerman, second by Mrs. Breedlove. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? None? Motion carries. Thank you, Dr. Renaud. Item number 8 now is the bond projects update. Ms. Mendez will address that, our VP for Construction.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. I'm pleased to provide an update on the architect selection process for the bond project. No action is required on this item this evening. At the previous meeting of the Board of Trustees, we reported that 26 architectural firms had expressed an interest to participate in the bond projects. Before the holidays, an evaluation committee was formed to review the responses and rank the proposals according to the criteria established in the request for proposals. The evaluation committee is composed of Dr. Jose Martin, Dr. John Renaud, Dr. Wayne Moore, Gilbert Gallegos, Diana Bravo Gonzalez, and your Assistant Vice President for Construction. The evaluation committee, led by the project managers from Brothers and Associates, reviewed the proposals based on the qualifications of the prime firm, the proposed team, and based on experience on representative projects. Based on the results of the evaluation and upon review by the President, the following group of firms will be invited to participate in the next step, which is the interviews. For the music education project, we are proposing that Studio Red, Kel Munoz, Lake Flato, and Richter Architects. For the Center for Early Childhood Studies, Alvidres Architecture, Hermes Architects, and Will Janusek. For the library and classroom projects, Kirksey, Alvidres Architecture, Kel Munoz, Page Sutherland Page, and Hermes Architect. For the Center for Biomedical Research and Outreach, Kel Munoz and PNW Architects. As per the participation model, members of the Board 1 Advisory Committee and the Executive Council will participate in the interviews. A recommendation will be forwarded to the board after the interviews for the meetings in February and March. We will also be calling on the Board 1 advisory committees to review the programs that have been developed for each one of the projects. As you can see, there's a lot of activity planned for the next few weeks. A copy of the meetings has been provided for you in your binders for your information. We look forward to your participation in each one of these meetings. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Will these interviews be more of a presentation format as we had last time we had the selection of the architect?
Yes, sir. We've asked the firms to concentrate their presentation on their design abilities, whether it be representative projects that they're very proud of, or to give us some clue as to the design abilities. So that's what we're asking them to concentrate on.
Any questions, board members? No. Look forward to
seeing you there.
Seeing you there.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Mendes. Okay, item number 10 is the the first quarter financial and investment report by Ms. Elba Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The financial statements for the first quarter and the investment report have been included in your binders. They are being provided for informational purposes only and do not require any action on your behalf. These statements are for the fiscal year 2005-2006 and cover operations from September through November of 2005. The interest earned for the first quarter totaled $289,000. The interest is being generated through the district's various checking and savings accounts with Lone Star National Bank, with an interest rate of 3.15% and 3.4%, respectively. At this time, I will take any questions you may have regarding the financial statements or the investment report.
Mr. Campirano, you usually ask questions on the financial records. Anything?
Well, only because I've learned that Melba is going to be leaving us. And I certainly wish her well in her new endeavors, but I do want to take the opportunity to thank her for the 2 years that she certainly has done a very able job as the district comptroller. I think the culmination of the prior year's audit with an unqualified opinion and the fact that there were not even a management letter is indicative that she certainly has left the books in excellent shape and has done an excellent job for the district. Certainly just really wanted to wish her well and thank her for her service to the college district.
I thank you. I thank each of you.
You can't leave.
Yeah. We've told her that, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to say also here, thank you. A tremendous job in taking the time to always be able to talk to us and explain things at our level, and I really appreciate the time. I'm so sorry to hear you leave.
I won't be far.
Is getting a fabulous employee.
I will not be far. I have sincerely enjoyed serving this board. I've learned a tremendous amount in my experience here, and I know our paths will cross again, so I look forward to that opportunity once again.
Thank you very much, Melba. I appreciate your work. Item number 11, construction report, Dr. Wayne Moore. Just joking, Wayne. Just joking, Wayne. I want to see if you're awake.
There he is.
Back there. John, before you start,
yes, sir.
I was just notified by Little Bird that yesterday was Dr. Moore's birthday. Wayne, on behalf of the board, happy birthday. Thank you, Dr. Renaud.
Yes, sir. My pleasure. We're pleased on behalf of Dr. Moore and others to present the construction report this evening to you.
Yes.
First, we're very pleased to present just an update on beginning work on what will now be known as the George Truon Sculpture Garden. As we reported this evening, this is area directly in front of the old automotive shops that will soon be your fine art shops next to Calvary and the bookstore. Rustenburg renovations are well underway. The space I just referred to is being refurbished for your fine arts. The sculpture program and woodworking programs will both be housed there. Physical plant has been doing this work. It's going to look out on the George Struan Sculpture Garden. There's some footage of the work that's being completed by a physical plant. Those floors will be cleaned and sealed, so they'll be very multi-use and very durable floors. M2 renovation. M2 is next to your child care center and north of the Cortez building. It's being renovated by physical plant for use by the engineering technology department. Those machines are being relocated from the M0 lab and the Set B labs. Update on the M1 renovations being conducted by Larry Loff and his crew. The building's being renovated for the biology department and will provide very critical additional laboratory space. You can see that we're even to the point now of moving furniture in. Larry and his crew have done a great job in that project. Some ceiling tiles yet to go in, but you can see the lab tables and counters are being installed. So we're real pleased with those projects. I want to point out that if you go by the George Struan Sculpture Garden area, you'll see palms out in front, and those are the very first palms from the Barry Horn donation, the Horn family donation, so the beautiful trees.
Thank you, Dr. Renaud.
Thank you.
We now go to President Garcia's report.
Thank you. I just wanted to affirm what John said, and we wanted to show you the renovation. We always show you the new construction. But one of the things that we've learned to do on campus is to reuse old space. And old space on campus is gold. Everybody wants to know when so-and-so is moving so that they can move in. And we barely have time to do some renovation. And so what were the somewhat old and out-of-date auto body labs that John was showing you and other labs are going to be wonderful art space for students. And with the addition of that park on the corner of it, I'd like for you to take some time to just walk by and see it. It's not as dramatic often as seeing the new space come up on campus, but transformations occur in many ways, and this is about to be transformed into some wonderful space. It's right in the heart of our campus, and will now be housing the art department. Some of the art department has already moved over to Rustenburg. The rest of the art department will be moving over there by spring break. And so we're very, very pleased that has occurred as scheduled. We're in the process of now building a kiln for Nancy Schleight and for her sculpture classes, relocating other services there. And so in the next couple of months, you've now seen the before, some of the in progress. You'll see the completed in a few months. Thank you, John, for that report. We have a new vice president, and that I'd like to introduce to you. We have chosen one of our own to become the vice president for institutional advancement. On a campus like ours, where we're always trying to seek additional revenues from everywhere we can, and when federal dollars are not plentiful, when state dollars are less plentiful, when you have gone to the students already to raise tuition and fees and do not want to go back, when you've gone to a community already and asked for support in a bond issue, you see those revenue streams slowly becoming saturated with our requests. So the newest revenue stream for this university, and the one that will make it the most difference in the next few years, will be that of institutional advancement. That is patrons, donors, development of all kinds with regards to corporations, endowments, planned giving, foundation support, whatever those might generate for us. It doesn't provide operating expenses for universities, but it often provides that little bit that makes a difference for that one student for a scholarship, or for that faculty member to do some research they couldn't have done otherwise, or to present a paper that they had accepted. It is It is that makes a difference between operating and maintaining this machine and providing excellence on the other hand. And so we have needed a racehorse in this area. And we've been looking for one, and we've been searching all over for one. And the committee couldn't find somebody that we thought could come in and take off and move in that direction quickly. And so Dr. Martin and I conferred at length and decided that then we needed to choose someone who was already here and someone who was willing to accept a reassignment. Now, we reassign people here all the time. We're very good at recycling, we call it, and that's healthy in an organization, I believe, because you get a chance to try on a new set of skills and to take on new responsibilities. But not everybody wants to go to the Office of Institutional Advancement. Well, why not? Because it's one of the hardest jobs on a campus. It's one thing to produce a good academic program. It's quite another to try and sell that and to try and get donors interested as you are to support it. It's a hard job, but we have recruited someone to do that. And so I would like to introduce to you our new Vice President for Institutional Advancement, Dr. Ruth Ann Ragland. Would you please stand? Ruth Ann has been serving as Vice President for Academic Affairs now since January of last year. She joined the university in 2001 as an Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. She is the perfect fit for this position because she knows the university well. No one knows our academic programs, the product that we are trying to sell, better than the person who's been in charge of that division. And knows how to make things happen and sees a problem and sees something that has to get done and just moves deliberately but with great impact to get it to happen. Dr. Ragland supports our faculty. She knows them. She advocates for our students, and she's believed in our mission since before she got here. It was just an incredible thing. She was trying to figure out how to get here to do this work with us. She knows how to approach donors, and she knows how to listen to them, and she's a brilliant communicator who knows when it's time to move in. She came to us from Texas Women's University, where she was the director of the Mass Communication Program. She has also taught and advised student media at Southern Methodist University in Dallas and at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. Before she began teaching, she was a news reporter and editor for 16 years with the Associated Press in Dallas. And you'll see her walking around with her little reporter's tablet still. She was in Albuquerque, in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Columbus, Ohio. She also worked for the Dallas Times-Herald and the Springdale News. She's got a bachelor's degree in journalism from the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, a master's degree in public administration from the University of New Mexico, and a PhD in political science from the University of North Texas. She and her husband, Fred, live in Brownsville, and we are very, very proud and thankful, Ruth Ann, that you have allowed us to recycle and to use your skills to the benefit of our faculty and to our students. Thank you for taking this position. We begin now immediately to advertise to replace her in her Vice President for Academic Affairs position.
Madam President, may I just say it was a brilliant move, and I'm really excited to work with Dr. Ragland. I think she's the perfect person. She doesn't know a stranger, and she's wonderful, perfect. I'm really excited about it, and I'm thrilled to have you in that new position. Thank you for accepting it. I'm excited to work with you.
I'd also like to introduce a couple of other folks who have accepted other assignments. Ruth Ann, you're going to introduce these folks. I'm sorry. Dr. Ragland, would you please have the honor of doing this?
I just want to say I am honored that I was asked to do this new position. Institutional advancement really is an area where you can help make dreams come true, scholarships for students, new resources for faculty and staff. So I look forward to working with all of you all, with the community, with our students, faculty, and staff to make good things happen. So thank you for the confidence expressed in me in this. Thank you. I have some folks to introduce tonight that we are very, very pleased to have in their new positions. I would like to introduce Dean J. Phillips. He is our new interim Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs. He will be working closely with us while a national search is underway to fill that position. He's adding these new responsibilities to his present position as Dean of Developmental and General Education. And this is not the first time that Jay has graciously accepted additional duties to help us while searches are going on. He served on 2 separate occasions as interim dean of the College of Science, Math, and Technology. Dean Phillips joined us as a teacher in the Department of Physical Sciences in 1982 and was appointed chair of the Department of Physical Sciences in 1994. Before joining UTB TSC, he taught at Texas A&M in Galveston, Galveston College, and Sam Houston State University. We greatly appreciate him for helping us in this new capacity. Thank you, Jay. Another person who is recycling is Dr. Eli Pena. A national search for a director for institutional effectiveness produced Eli as our new director. Dr. Pena is one of those persons who is multi-talented, and he's accepted a variety of new challenges since he joined us in 1974. He's been a faculty member in the biology department, a chair of the biology department, and he was founding director of our academic advising center. He most recently has served as on an administrative assignment in the College of Science, Math, and Technology. As Director for Institutional Effectiveness, Dr. Pena will give us guidance and direction as we seek reaffirmation of our accreditation from the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. We'll have a site visit in 2008, and Dr. Pena is helping us prepare for that very, very important event. And he will know more about us and our institution than anybody by 2008. Dr. Pena holds both a bachelor's and master's degrees in biology from what now is University of Texas at Pan Am, and he has a PhD in education administration from University of Texas at Austin. Thank you, Eli, for helping us in this new capacity. You may recall that in the last legislative session, we received approval for a Math and Science Academy. This academy will allow 50 to 75 well-prepared high school juniors and seniors to earn both a high school diploma and complete up to 60 hours of college credit while participating in this academy on our campus. The students, who may barely be teenagers, will take classes just as our regular students do, but there'll be a special cohort and will be encouraged in their math and science interests through both their coursework and extracurricular activities. When we began looking for a director for this new academy, we knew we must have someone with outstanding experience in teaching young people in high school, as well as experience in teaching college students, and we knew that we needed a person with excellent administrative skills as well as the appropriate academic expertise. We had that person on our campus, and I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Deloria Nance Davis. Dr. Davis has accepted the position of founding director of our new Math and Science Academy. She will be working with Dr. Carl Stockton, our Dean of the School of Education, and our faculty and staff to lead us in making our Math and Science Academy a reality. Dr. Nance Davis joined us in 1988 as a faculty member in the Math Department, and she served as chair of the Math Department for the past 10 years. She holds a bachelor's degree in mathematics from Texas Lutheran College and a bachelor's of business administration and a master's in secondary and higher education from what now is Texas A&M University at Commerce. Her doctorate in education is from the University of Houston. We are so glad to have Deloria help lead us in this new effort. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful program for our students and for our community and for our university. Thank you, Deloria. And thank you all.
Thank you very much. Dr. Hilda Silva is going to introduce a new hire also.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, Dr. Garcia. It is with great pleasure that I introduce our new Director of Housing, Mr. Doug Stowe. Doug comes to us from Ashland, Wisconsin, where he was the Director of Residence Life for Northland College. He has 16 years of experience in residence life and auxiliary services. At Ashland, he was also responsible for student development of 8 on-campus residential facilities with a total capacity of over 500 students. He was also responsible for campus food services and the bookstore. He served as judicial hearing officer, which will be very helpful with his new job in housing on our campus as well. Especially to his credit is that at Ashland, he acted as a lead role with the construction of a new residence hall in Northland campus, which is going to be very helpful as we look into phase 2 of housing on our campus. Doug was also very involved in his community. He served for 2.5 years as a city councilor for the city of Ashland, served for 7 years on the board of commissioners for the city of Ashland Housing Authority, and by doing so, he was able to get the Housing Authority to award students some money to live in housing, which is, we're already working, he knows he's going to continue to do that in this area as well. He also served 9 years as the president of the local Humane Society. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Mr. Doug Stokes.
We thank you for that, Dr. Silva. Mr. Stoves, we expect great things here. We are about to launch into another student housing effort. We need that expertise that you bring to us from Wisconsin, and we look forward then to your leadership as we expand also the notion of learning communities in the student life and in dormitories. So welcome to campus and congratulations. We have signed on our first female chess champion to our UTV TSC chess team. Her name is Nelly Estrada. She is the current under 20-year-old female national chess champion of Mexico. She was presented with a 4-year chess scholarship, and she begins this Monday of this week. She comes to us from the University of Ciudad Juarez and will be majoring in engineering, although I hear Dr. Colom is trying to recruit her to biology. She found out about our national chess team, and then we found out about her and introduced her to our chess team and recruited her. Rusty Harwood, our new assistant chess coach, really was the most instrumental in finding her and successfully recruiting her and her family, in fact, because it takes that to bring someone from Ciudad Juarez all the way to Brownsville. It kind of like that, just like Vince, and we believe it is. She's been playing chess since she was 10 years old. She says she's very excited about competing in chess tournaments. She's already competed at about 100 chess tournaments in Mexico and 6 in international chess tournaments, to include 2 in Greece, 1 in France, and a couple in South America. She has our all-male chess team is very excited about having a young lady in their ranks now, and she and Timor have already begun with practice games against each other. There is a first ever national collegiate chess tournament for women that is about to occur this month. And Nellie comes to us just in time to go to this tournament and represent UT Brownsville, TSC, and it happens to be in Corpus Christi. So she is going to be competing in the National Collegiate Chess Tournament for girls under 21, representing our university. She will then join our team in February in Houston for the Southwest Collegiate Championship. She and her parents came to campus, and her two sisters and her brother. And we all met together. It is a beautiful family. Her father is a professor of mathematics at the University of Ciudad Juarez. Her mother is a second grade school teacher. And the other bit of news is that she has a younger sister who is also a chess aficionado and who is at the top of her class in competition already in Mexico in the younger girls division. So congratulations to Dr. Silva and all of you associated with that chess program for the new recruit. This is a very important week in our nation. It is when we celebrate and honor the memory of Martin Luther King. And we have now for many years been celebrating that on campus with cultural events and speaking and arts and music. And this year is no different. Tomorrow we will have a program called An Evening of Celebration at 6 p.m. in Setby Lecture Hall. We have a very marvelous speaker coming this year. They're always able to attract some extraordinary people. This year we have a fellow who has won 4 Emmys in a documentary production, including the Emmys for Frederick Douglass, When the Lion Wrote History, Malcolm X in Make It Plain, and Citizen King. His name is Orlando Bagwell, and he will be on our campus. First, he will be speaking to students at from 11 to 12 in Setby Lecture Hall, and then he will be speaking to the public at 6 p.m. Also at Setby Lecture Hall. We invite you to come and join us for both or either of these events. It's really a great honor to have him on campus, and it's a great opportunity for our students to get a chance to meet him. The Clayburgh Award has been received by 2 of our professors, Mary Jane Shands and Elizabeth Heiss, and it's a grant application. First one we've gotten from Clayburgh Foundation. This one was for $95,750, and it is for the expansion of our community involvement in the Bahia Grande Restoration Project. So that seed, once planted, is beginning to bloom in a variety of ways. So if you see Mary Jane or Elizabeth, please congratulate them on that award. We also received another first-time award from the Texas Guaranteed Student Loan Grant. And I did not even know for a long time that the student loan group gave out awards, but they do. And these are, of course, to get more students in that important pipeline and to attract them to those opportunities early on. They have given us $144,000, which includes funds to put students in jobs and in mentoring others, and 50 students will receive $1,000 scholarships. This is a huge scholarship for our students and another wonderful way to use scholarships to bring students to our campus. We mean to start a very aggressive campaign with now Dr. Ragland's help in institutional advancement to attract those students that are extraordinarily gifted in their high school graduating classes, some of which are being attracted and recruited by others nationwide. And we'd like to get in on that competition. And the only way to do that and support these new academic programs is by offering them scholarships like we do in some other areas. So this one allows us to begin that process in a very extraordinary way. We received a small grant from Ford Foundation, but for an important topic. It's $10,000 for a Difficult Dialogues grant, where it's designed to foster a campus environment where sensitive subjects can be discussed in a spirit of open scholarly inquiry and intellectual rigor. these are days when constraint seems to be the rule in many of our schools, and that this politically correct notion constrains discussion, and folks are hesitant to talk about issues that need to be vetted and in an intellectual environment. And so John Cook, one of our professors, applied for a grant to be able to convene those kind of difficult dialogues. Those will begin to get organized, and we'll be alerting you to that opportunity. Students have been invited to meet with the new law school dean from UT Austin. As you know, the current dean, Powers, has been invited to become the new president of UT Austin. He's been coming down for several years to recruit our students in our pre-law academy. Well, now the new interim dean will be here in his place, and he'll be here Tuesday, January the 24th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. So if you know of anyone that's interested in going to law school, they have saved some spaces, literally, for students from UT Brownsville. And much like the pipeline program that we have to the medical schools, this is a pipeline program for our students to go to law school. So please invite them to come and meet the dean and have the opportunity to chat with him about the possibility of going to UT Law School. We invite all of you to be here as well. We have a friend of the university in Robert Pulido. Robert Pulido is an entertainer who from time to time gives concerts to benefit students and scholarships for students. And he is holding a concert at Jacob Brown on Valentine's Day, which is wonderful. So if you have a Valentine, or if you'd like to just buy a ticket to support the concert, to support scholarships, please do so. Joining Bobby, Roberto Pulido will be his son, Bobby, and Ruben Ramos, and the award-winning Mariachi Escorpion. So we thank Mr. Pulido for his support in the past. This is not the first time he's done it, and we'd like to encourage folks to attend. There also will be a live auction that night. He will be auctioning some of his own personal items, Mr. Oliveira, like a golf putter and a fishing lure for anyone else who might be interested. Let's see. I have one more announcement. We are now requesting nominees for the 2006 Texas Southmost College Distinguished Alumnus Award. We've been doing this now for 13 years, and we've had wonderful nominations, but we need your help in surfacing more. So if you would please submit your nominations to us. You can do the research, or we will do the research on them, but the sooner we have the names, the better, so that we can begin that process. That concludes mine.
Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Proposed meeting dates for the Board of Trustees are as follows: February the 16th,
Valentine's Day,
March 23rd. You can go to Bobby Pulido's dance after that. April 13th and May 22nd.
In trouble?
No, it's the 14th. 14th.
That's the 14th.
You're in trouble. Don't forget.
Don't forget.
We also have some board bond advisory committee meetings. Music education will be on Friday, January 27th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. Dr. Robles, trustee, liaison. The Center for Early Childhood Studies will be on Monday, January the 30th from 3 to 6:30 p.m. Dr. Zimmerman, trustee, liaison. Classroom buildings will be Thursday, February 2nd, 5:30 to 7. That's my advisory committee. Music Education Building, Dr. Roberto Robles. Friday the 3rd from 12 to 5 p.m. This is for the architect interviews here at the Gorgas Boardroom. Biomedical Research and Outreach Center, architect interviews, Rosemary Breedlove, trustee liaison, on Monday, February the 6th, from 1:30 to 5 p.m. in Gorgas Boardroom. Library Projects Program Review, David Oliveda, trustee liaison, Tuesday, February the 7th, from 5:30 to 7 in Corcoran's conference room. And the East Library and Classroom Buildings architect interviews on Friday, the 17th of February, from 12 noon to 6 p.m. at the Acacia conference room. That will be myself and Mr. Oliveda. So that concludes the proposed meeting dates, and so if we have no other announcement to make, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
We are adjourned.
Secretary right now, need to be at these meetings.